think that's a great idea.
Because I do think regimes will figure out a way to game it, and,
Well,
and some of them will game it.
But I don't think I can't imagine
Yeah.
that it would last or people would figure it out.
Jack, you
Well-
have to give a little more credit to us Americans. We have developed all of the technology so far, all the internet, the Googles, and everything else that is happening. So we have given the whole world the basic...
Oh, I know we have. But what I mean
the
is,
basic tools.
if we want to make a statement of our solidarity with people, instead of just words, maybe we say, hey, let's go in and make sure that they're getting this information, that they're able to exchange this information. At one time we made that commitment to radio. We said there'll be Radio Free Europe. We guaranteed it. We kept it on through thick and thin. Every administration did it. And later we did it with television. We beamed television into places like Cuba and Central America. And now I think that needs to translate to some kind of...
And then we did it with satellite TV.
And now we need to do it with...
And then they went around in Tehran and took the satellite dishes down after,
All right. So, and we can put Al Gore in charge of it because he invented it.
Oh,
when
yes,
we come
we
back
can.
from the news, more Gang of Four on News Talk 550 KTSA.
And there's no global warming.
That's unnecessary. All right, it's Gang of Four for a Friday. We have been going at it. The violence that didn't happen in Egypt happened in here, apparently. On our gang today, Lisa Hunt, Dr. Masarat Ali, Michael Shakleford. I'll tell you what, Michael, that cinnamon roll that Lisa brought in, it's going to take care of that weight thing for you. You're on your way.
You can take one with you.
I'm going to work that.
You are on your way. All right. By the way, they tell us that our CPS bills this month, have you heard this? I heard this from Karen, might be triple what they usually are in February.
How lucky for us.
Isn't that something to look forward to?
Because it was 19 degrees for like 80 days.
Wow, All right, Lisa, you mentioned this. With everything that's going on in the world, we're about to go over a cliff in this country and this state. What's the first order of business for Governor Perry and the Texas legislature? This sonogram bill. This bill that would require women, it passed a Senate committee this week. It's on its way to a full vote in the Senate. Probably will pass, probably will get to the governor's desk, who will definitely sign it if it does. It requires a woman 24 hours or more before she can have an abortion to undergo a sonogram. It's very confusing as to whether she actually has to see it or look at it. Apparently there are provisions where a woman doesn't have to look or can block her ears or whatever. But I mean, just that the idea that it would be required, the proponents say this empowers women, it shows them what they're really doing so that they will maybe not, go forward with the abortion. Planned Parenthood is saying, hey, we already do ultrasounds, we already make this available if a woman wants to see it. There's no need for this. I'm pro-life, but I'm very unconvinced by this bill and the rationale for it. I really am. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's creating jobs for sonographers. So it's creating a couple of jobs for the sonographers. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Why?
Because it's unnecessary. Because it's something that I don't want my broken state to be focusing on when there's so many more important issues. I mean, everything else is falling apart, and this is the first order.
The proponents say, Dr. Ali, the proponents say women don't realize that that's a baby in there. They're being told by the abortionists that it's just a massive tissue.
Well, I think we are not giving enough credit. In this day and age, we know what they are dealing with, and this is not correct to assume that they don't know what they're talking about. And it's the same thing as telling the Egyptians that they can't handle the freedom. As Lisa said, that we have more important issues to talk about, and we have been taken over by the religious agenda here, that we have to dictate more or less as to what people have to see and think and then react. We have to. I'm a pro-lifer as well myself, but at the same time, you give that freedom to the women whether they wish to take it or not, rather than mandate it.
Well, Michael, it's very telling to me that the Republicans have been handed in Texas and nationally this big majority. It's very clear anyone watching the election knows that it was on the basis of pocketbook issues. It's very telling that they immediately revert to a social issue. We know this is their position, but Why now, of all times, to be pressing this?
You know, it's really funny because I've been watching it on the news, and I don't know why. I don't know why they're deciding to take this issue on right now when we clearly have issues related to funding and teachers and school districts. But I do have an opinion about it. I'm pro-choice. I would like the woman to actually make the choice. However, with that said, I think that this is very creative in allowing a woman to really second guess about what she is doing to her body and the future child. Again, the question is, when do you consider a child is born? Is it a conception, or is it is it at birth? When is it really a true human being?
But let's just get down to brass tacks here, all right? If you're an abortion clinic, I'm sorry to say this, you're in the business of abortion. That's what you're there to do. So how effective an agent of education are you going to be? No matter what the law says, how hard are the abortion clinics going to work to change your mind? Why are we doing this?
What do you think goes on at an abortion clinic? You think, come on in, this will be great. Let's do it.
But I'm
I know
saying,
nobody
why
wants
would
to
you
have an
think-
abortion.
why
Number
would
one.
you- listen,
Nobody
let me
wants
finish.
it. Okay.
Why would the proponents of this bill
Yeah.
think that people who are in the business of providing abortions will help talk women out of abortions? It's insanity.
Well, the person who actually administers or procedure may not be, may be pro-life. Not everybody there that works in the office is pro.
You're asking Planned Parenthood clinics to help advance the cause of women not choosing to get an abortion.
Well, let me.
It's not going to
There's a couple
happen.
of questions I don't know. Number one, if you have to have a sonogram, number one, who's paying for it? Number one.
That's a very good question.
Number two. When is this is this like in the first 3 weeks? Is it in the first?
It has to be whatever period of time abortion is legal, but it has to be 24 hours before you get the procedure.
I need to know what happens if you say I can't afford to pay for it. Is Planned Parenthood or the clinics responsible to pay for it?
Planned Parenthood gets a third of its money from the government. A third. So if the people like Rick Perry and Dan Patrick in the Senate, if they were serious, if this wasn't just a stunt, which I believe it is,
It most certainly
then
is.
they would say, let's not give any more money to Planned Parenthood. The news is full of examples of abuses and atrocities that have been documented on tape committed in Planned Parenthood clinics. So why not defund Planned Parenthood? If you really are pro-life, I've got your answer. Start there. The sonogram thing's a gimmick. And that's all we get from Rick Perry is gimmick, 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 gimmick. I don't know when people are going to wake up and realize that.
I do.
Thank you, Lisa.
I realize it.
You
Hello.
are the only two. How weird is this? Tell me what you think of this. Yesterday, the junior senator from Arizona, John Kyle, who's a Republican, announced he's retiring from the Senate. He's not going to run for re-election next year. The Democrats in Arizona have said, we have the perfect candidate. The polling indicates this is a no-brainer. There's no way Gabrielle Giffords could lose if we put her on the ballot. I mean, that just seems creepy to me.
Why?
Why?
No, tell me why.
No, wait, I'm going to see if somebody else will say it first. If no one else has it, I'll take
I'm
it.
just asking you why.
Is anybody else creeped out by that?
No, I'm not.
You think that that's a good idea?
Oh yes, of course.
Putting Gabrielle Giffords on the ballot?
Well, it's all political currency. You cash it when the price is high.
Wow. You guys are more cynical than I thought.
I mean,
I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I'm saying
I mean,
why.
I pray for this woman, and I hope that she
I mean,
makes
think
her
about it. How come Ronald Reagan was elected? You think he was a politician? How come we elected him?
But his popularity,
Yes,
I don't know what
was
I don't know what that has to
gained
do with
fashion.
this.
I don't know.
She
We
was
put a dead
shot.
person on the ballot when they won. So, I mean, you tell me.
I understand if you're already on the ballot.
So I think this is the time to cash it in.
Oh, wait a minute. I understand if you're already on the ballot
I
and
understand
you
what you're
die or you become incapacitated and it's too late to take you off the ballot, sometimes voters will elect you anyway. And also, I think we should admit, maybe by 2012, she'll be walking around and just peachy. I doubt it. Sorry, I doubt that, but
Probably
it could
not.
happen. And if it does, then there's plenty of time.
Well-
But for them to be
I'm
thinking
doing
right
it now.
away, oh, we have the perfect candidate. Good grief. That's just cold. Has she even? I mean, can they? What are they going to do? Take her hand and make her sign the application? I mean,
Well, why do you feel that it will be necessary? Maybe she will be fine in a few weeks.
well, you wait till you get to that
Well,
point, Doctor.
but-
And you allow her to speak.
And you
don't
let
allow
her
the party to
say
do
that.
Right.
So I mean, right now they are thinking.
I mean, she
that-
might as well run for president. I
Right,
guess.
yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
The public
Okay, so she'd be a
sentiment-
good candidate for
Right,
president.
public
Oh,
sentiment is with her for now. They think it's a good idea now. Maybe things will change.
I
in a few
never
months.
understand what's going on.
Maybe
in
things will
Arizona.
change in a few months. Why do you think that people are going after Sarah Palin? Because they think that they could
But Sarah
catch it
Palin's
in.
not in a hospital bed. She's
Yes,
she's
but-
walking
but
around.
She
making her-
should be.
You see, it's all about the sentiments of the people.
Well, look, I
You know,
understand.
it's about cashing it in.
I understand that that's why they're doing it.
Right.
But Dr. Ali, isn't there any part of you that finds that disturbing on a human level? The woman is fighting for her life. She's got a tube down her throat.
Do you think they asked her? Oh, isn't the tube out?
I don't understand how people cannot think that is.
Well, it's
that's
the-
beyond politics.
Well, it is the other people who are thinking it that way. When the time comes, of course, she will be allowed to speak and make that decision whether she
Maybe
wants-
not.
Maybe
if she's
not.
such a great candidate, maybe they not. Maybe, and she's still in this state in 2012. Maybe they'll just say, "Hey, we had a talk with her. She had a moment of clarity. She woke up and was able to speak for a minute, and she declared her candidacy, and then went back. And so that's it. She's in the race. She'll campaign from the bed."
Well, you know, things are not done for the right reasons in politics.
Yeah.
And this is the way the game is played, and they are doing it the way that they think it can be done.
It's part of the game.
It's horrifying.
And I didn't say I was for it.
The same thing about abortion. How do you think that Rick Perry is doing this the first thing that he want to do? Because he's playing to the base.
I understand that.
That and the voter
I
registration
understand
thing.
that.
That's,
But what I'm saying is,
Instead of doing the right thing, all you want to do is to talk about.
I understand
abortion.
why the people who are advocating it, Dr. Ali, are advocating it. I understand that. I can't believe that people are not repulsed by that.
That's-
I cannot believe that the average person, not a political operative, but that the average person hearing that wouldn't think, my God, is there anything they won't do to win an election?
there it is.
Well, then the next thing is.
And this is what I say on this show all the time. You know, what we talk about on this show, more than any other single thing, is the fallacy that there are two political parties, that they are in competition with each other, that there's a real difference between them. My listeners are like, have you all seen The Matrix? Mm-hmm. My listeners are like Keanu Reeves at that moment where he pulls the cable out of the
Yeah.
back of his head.
Yeah.
He's in that big test
chair?
tube of
Yeah.
goo. No, he's in that big
Okay.
chamber of goo.
Yeah.
And he pulls the tube out of his
Yeah.
head. And he realizes in that moment that he's in the Matrix, that nothing he has been seeing is real.
So you
That's
think all
what my
your listeners are like that?
No, most of them are not. They haven't had that moment yet. But this show gives you that moment to pull the tube out of your head and realize these parties are crass. They are the same. It's a two-headed monster. There's no difference.
I agree.
And a lot of what happens around us is the Matrix.
It's smoke and mirrors, and I've said it every time. I remember when I had that moment of clarity. That's what I've realized.
Who could forget your moment of
It
clarity?
was great, and I said, this is what it is. But it's the people around you that keep this alive, that perpetuate this.
Right.
That's what it is.
So what I'm saying,
the guys in
if you
Washington
pull the tube out of your
find
head,
it funny.
Then you realize how horrendous this is. This is like
I
something
mean,
out of a
if she had
sci-fi
been a
movie.
Republican, no, let's say, when you said that, the first thing I thought of is, like in that movie where he said, now picture, whatever that movie, that Mississippi movie, where the little girl got raped, you know? And he tells and Matthew McConaughey tells the jury, now this, and this, and now imagine she was white. That is a moment that I think of that's like this. Now imagine that she's Republican. Now imagine that it's the other side. No, I'm just saying that, imagine something you can relate to is what that
It
is
doesn't
about.
matter
Matter
what
what party. It's
Okay,
sickening.
I'm just saying.
It's just sickening. Period.
It's not
to the
sickening.
extent
It's
that
just
they'll win
So Michael's
they'll go
pulled the
to-
tube out of his.
okay.
You
It's
haven't
to
pulled the
me.
tube out of your
It
head.
doesn't make me. It's not
Unplug
sickening.
yourself and see the Matrix, Lisa.
I see the Matrix.
No, you
it
don't,
doesn't
not yet.
disgust me, but it doesn't enhance anything.
Get her a red pill.
Oh, stop
Get
it.
her a red pill. She needs to take the red
I'm
pill.
not
It's
about the red
11:24 on
pill.
KTSA.
Go away.